Hey folks, and welcome aboard Tango Golf Foxtrot. On what I have to say is what we'd call in the pilot trade a shitter of a day. The rain is coming down. It's quite windy out there, and the visibility is not very much. So how do we go flying on a day like this? Well, in the last video we talked about how we fly around New Zealand not by looking out the window, but by navigating from point to point using a technique called instrument flight rules, using a map like this and going from one part of the country to another with reference to GPS and radio beacons. In this case, the destination is going to be New Plymouth, and if you want to have a bit of a look back through how that was planned, that's in the last video. So how do we take this information on this rather fetching map and convert it to the airplane? Well, we do it with this. So this unit here is called a Garmin 430, and this is our GPS, just like the GPS you'd have in your car or on your phone. A little bit more accurate, well, a lot more accurate, and if I'm to be honest, the map display is not quite as good. On the map you're looking at there, the black stuff is the land, the blue stuff is the sea. So you will remember that our flight plan took us from North Shore Airfield to Auckland Radio Beacon, then via a number of arbitrary GPS waypoints called Karpai, Ekali and Dobbo, and then to New Plymouth. And what I've done is entered those in my flight plan from NZNE to AA, which is Auckland, magnetic track of 140 degrees, then south 183 degrees to Karpai, then on to Ekali, and after Ekali, Dobbo, which you remember had a holding pattern if we needed it, then the NP, New Plymouth Radio Beacon, and finally New Plymouth itself. So that's great, it's really accurate, but it's not a very useful way of seeing where we are. The purple line represents the track, and the aeroplane, of course, is us at NZNE. So this is what we use to plan the flight, or input it into the airplane's GPS. But how do we actually fly the flight? Well, the answer to that is over here in the flight instrument cluster. And we won't dwell too much on the other instruments, we've looked at those in other videos, but what I will do is come down here and look at this sucker here. This is I'll just get my reflections out of the way. This is the horizontal situation indicator, or HSI, as well as a compass. So you can see at the moment it's got us pointing 080 at the top, just next to east. It shows us where we are in relation to that GPS track, or sometimes the radio beacon track, depending on what I select. So that yellow line across the middle there, if you look closely, you can see it's aligned to 140 degrees, which you'll remember was our track to Auckland, and I can select that to any track I like. The other really useful thing on there is the segment in the middle, you'll notice, is not completely aligned to the rest of the needle. And what that tells us is whether we are left or right of our track. So if I drift off track to the right, that segment will move across to the left and tell me that that's where I need to go. The other little bit of information in there's a big triangle there, and that's telling me that the beacon we're pointing to, in this case Auckland, is over there. So to get from Auckland down to New Plymouth, really it's just a matter of putting all those waypoints in our GPS up there, allowing the GPS to sequence from one waypoint to the next, and you'll see the next one is 140 degrees, so southeast, and 22 miles away, and flying the aeroplane with reference to the horizontal situation indicator. Hey, thanks for joining me on this crappy day here in TGF. Look forward to having you view the very next video.